I spent 2 weeks in a Brazilian beach town that made me completely forget Rio de Janeiro existed. And I'm about to show you exactly why this place deserves to be at the top of your Brazil bucket list. Most travelers fly into Brazil, spend 3 days in Rio, maybe hit up the Amazon, and fly home thinking they've seen the country. But they've barely scratched the surface of what Brazil actually offers. The place I'm talking about is called Trancoso, a small beach town in southern Bahia that sits about 90 minutes north of Porto Seguro, where the first Portuguese ships landed over 500 years ago. Here's what shocked me most about Trancoso. This town has 15 different beaches within a 20-minute drive, each one more beautiful than the last, and on most days I was one of maybe 10 people on the entire stretch of sand. Now, before you start thinking this is some luxury resort destination that's going to cost you a fortune, let me set the record straight, because Trancoso has options for every type of traveler and every budget level. I stayed in a beautiful pousada, which is basically a small Brazilian guest house, for about $50 a night. It had air conditioning, a pool, breakfast included, and was a 5-minute walk from the beach. The first thing you need to understand about Trancoso is that it's essentially 2 different places depending on what time of year you visit. And choosing the right season will completely define your experience here. I visited in May, which is technically the start of winter in Brazil, and the weather was absolutely perfect. Temperatures in the high 70s and low 80s Fahrenheit, sunny skies almost every day, and warm ocean water. Here's what nobody tells you. Trancoso was actually a hidden hippie beach town back in the 1970s and 80s, discovered by Brazilian artists and musicians who wanted to escape the chaos of Sao Paulo and Rio. That bohemian, laid-back vibe is still the heart of Trancoso today. Even though the town has definitely grown and attracted international attention, it hasn't lost the magic that made people fall in love with it in the first place. Let me walk you through the heart of Trancoso, which is a place called the Quadrado. It's basically a large grass plaza surrounded by colorful colonial houses that have been turned into restaurants, bars, and little boutique shops. At one end of the Quadrado sits a simple white church called Igreja de São João Batista, built in the 1500s, and beyond it, you get this absolutely stunning view of the ocean cliffs and beaches below. Walking through the Quadrado at sunset became my favorite daily ritual. The light turns everything golden, locals start setting up tables for dinner service, and the whole place just has this incredible, peaceful energy. Now let's talk about the beaches, because this is where Trancoso absolutely delivers. And I'm going to walk you through the 3 beaches that completely stole my heart during my 2 weeks here. Beach number 1 is Praia dos Nativos, which translates to Natives Beach. This is the main beach right below the Quadrado, and it's absolutely stunning with golden sand, warm turquoise water, and those iconic red cliffs. What makes Praia dos Nativos special is the barracas, which are these simple beach shacks run by local families. You rent a chair and umbrella for about $10, and they serve you fresh seafood and cold beer all day. I spent an entire day at a barraca called Estrela d'Água. Started with grilled fish for lunch, had fresh passion fruit juice in the afternoon, watched the sunset with a caipirinha, and my total bill was $35. Beach number 2 is Praia dos Coqueiros, which is about a 15-minute walk south from Nativos. This beach is much quieter, more natural, with coconut palms lining the shore and almost no development. This is the beach I went to when I wanted complete peace and quiet. I'd bring a book, sit under a palm tree, and sometimes go hours without seeing another person walk by on the sand. Beach number 3 is Praia do Rio Verde, which is technically in the next town over called Iraquina. You need to take a quick taxi or rent a bike, but trust me, this one is worth the effort. What makes Rio Verde magical is that a small river flows into the ocean here, creating this perfect natural pool where the fresh water mixes with salt water. It's shallow, warm, and absolutely stunning to swim in. A taxi from Trancoso to Rio Verde costs about 15 reais each way, which is roughly $3. Or you can rent a bicycle in town for about $10 a day and make it a lovely scenic ride. Now let's talk about food, because Trancoso completely changed how I think about Brazilian coastal cuisine. The seafood here is some of the freshest and most flavorful I've ever eaten anywhere in the world. My absolute favorite meal in Trancoso was at a restaurant called Silvana and CIA, which is this unassuming little spot right on the Quadrado. They specialize in moqueca, which is a traditional Brazilian seafood stew. The moqueca comes in a clay pot bubbling with shrimp, fish, coconut milk, dendê palm oil, tomatoes, and peppers. It's rich, slightly spicy, and served with rice and farofa, which is this toasted cassava flour mixture. That meal for 2 people, including a bottle of wine and a caipirinha, came to about $60 total. For the quality and portion size, that's an absolute steal compared to what you'd pay in Rio. For more casual meals, I fell in love with a spot called Tapioca da Sandra, which is basically a street food stand near the entrance to the Quadrado. They make fresh tapiocas right in front of you. Tapioca is made from cassava flour, and it's like a naturally gluten-free crepe. You can get them sweet with banana and chocolate, or savory with cheese and tomato, and they cost about $3 each. I got into this routine where I'd walk to Sandra's stand every morning around 9, get a tapioca with queijo coalho, which is this amazing Brazilian grilling cheese, and eat it while watching the town wake up. For lunch, my go-to move was hitting the barracas on the beach. Most of them serve basically the same menu of grilled fish, shrimp, and traditional Bahian dishes, and it's all incredibly fresh and affordable. A full grilled fish lunch with rice, beans, salad, and a fresh juice typically costs between $20 and $30. And we're talking about a whole grilled fish caught that morning, not a tiny fillet. Now let's talk about safety, because I know this is one of the biggest concerns people have when planning a trip to Brazil. And I want to give you the honest, unfiltered truth about my experience in Trancoso. I felt completely safe in Trancoso at all times. I walked around alone during the day and evening. I used my phone openly on the street. I never once felt uncomfortable or threatened in any situation. That said, I still followed basic common sense travel rules. I didn't wear expensive jewelry, I kept my camera in my bag when I wasn't actively using it, and I didn't walk down completely empty streets late at night. The reality is that Trancoso is a small town where tourism is the main economy. Locals understand that their livelihoods depend on visitors feeling safe and welcome, and that culture is very much present here. I talked to dozens of other travelers during my time there, both solo travelers and families, and every single person echoed the same sentiment. They felt safe and had no issues during their visit. Now let's get into the practical logistics of actually getting to Trancoso, because this is where a little planning goes a long way. It's not difficult, but it does require a couple of steps. The closest airport to Trancoso is Porto Seguro Airport, which has direct flights from São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Brasília, and a few other Brazilian cities. Most international travelers will connect through São Paulo or Rio. From Porto Seguro Airport to Trancoso is about 90 minutes by car. You have 3 main options: private transfer, shared shuttle van, or rental car, and each has pros and cons depending on your travel style. I took a private transfer, which cost about $80. The driver was waiting at the airport with my name on a sign, the car was air-conditioned, and I was at my pousada exactly 90 minutes later. If you're traveling on a tighter budget, shared shuttle vans run several times a day and cost about $30 per person. The downside is you might wait up to an hour for the van to fill up. Renting a car gives you total freedom to explore the surrounding beaches and towns at your own pace. Rental rates start around $40 a day, and the roads in this region are in good condition. You do not need a car while you're in Trancoso itself. The town is small and completely walkable, and taxis are cheap and plentiful for getting to beaches outside of the main area. Let's talk about when to visit, because timing really does matter in Trancoso. The seasons here are pretty distinct in terms of crowds, prices, and weather, and each has its own vibe. High season runs from mid-December through February, especially around Christmas and New Year. This is when Brazilian families vacation, prices double, beaches get crowded, and you need to book accommodation months in advance. Shoulder season is March through May and September through November. This is the sweet spot in my opinion, with great weather, far fewer crowds, and prices that are 40% to 50% lower than peak season. LOW season is June through August, which is technically winter in Brazil. It's still warm by most standards, with temps in the mid-70s, but you might get occasional rain, and the ocean can be a bit cooler. I visited in May, which is the tail end of shoulder season, and it was perfect. Sunny almost every day, ocean warm enough to swim comfortably, and I could book accommodation just a week in advance. Let's talk about where to stay, because Trancoso has accommodation options at every price point. From budget hostels to luxury boutique hotels and everything in between. I stayed at a pousada called Pousada Quarto Crescent, which cost about $50 a night in low season. It had a beautiful pool, excellent breakfast, air conditioning, and was a 6-minute walk from the Quadrado. For budget travelers, there are hostels in town starting around $20 to $30 a night for a dorm bed. These are social spots where you'll meet other backpackers and travelers exploring the region. If you want to splurge, Trancoso has some absolutely stunning boutique hotels. Places like Uxua Casa Hotel with private villas, plunge pools, and design that'll blow your mind, starting around $300 a night. For most travelers, the sweet spot is a mid-range pousada in the $50 to $100 range. You get comfort, local character, breakfast included, and you're supporting family-run businesses. Location-wise, I recommend staying within walking distance of the Quadrado. You want to be able to walk home after dinner without needing to call a taxi, especially since taxis can be scarce late at night. Now let's talk money and daily budget, because I want to give you real numbers based on my actual spending. I tracked everything for 2 weeks, and I'll break it down by category. Accommodation averaged $50 per night at my pousada. Food and drinks came to about $40 a day when I mixed beach barracas with casual restaurants and the occasional nicer dinner. Local transport like taxis and bike rental averaged about $8 a day. Activities like beach chair rental and the occasional boat trip added about $15 a day to my budget. That puts my total daily budget at about $113 per day. And that was living comfortably, not cutting corners, eating well, and doing everything I wanted to do. If you're a budget backpacker, you could absolutely do Trancoso for $60 to $70 a day. Hostel dorm, street food and beach barracas, minimal drinking, and free activities like beach time. Let me tell you about one experience that absolutely blew me away. I took a boat trip to a beach called Espelho, which translates to Mirror Beach, and it's one of the most stunning places I've ever seen. Espelho Beach gets its name because at low tide, these massive natural tidal pools form on the sand, and the water is so still and clear that it perfectly reflects the sky above. It's absolutely surreal. The boat trip from Trancoso to Espelho costs about $40 per person and takes about 30 minutes along the coast. Several operators run trips daily, and your pousada can help you book. Timing is everything at Espelho. You need to visit during low tide to see the famous mirror pools, so check the tide schedule before you book your trip, and aim to arrive about 2 hours before low tide. The other amazing day trip from Trancoso is to Careva, which is this tiny car-free beach village where the streets are sand. There's no ATM, and the whole place runs on a completely different pace. You reach Careva by taking a taxi to the river, then crossing on a small hand-pulled ferry. The whole journey takes about 40 minutes from Trancoso, and it feels like you've traveled back in time 50 years. Careva has 0 cars or motorcycles. Everything happens on foot or bicycle. The streets are literally made of sand, and at night the whole village is lit by candlelight because electricity is limited. I spent a full day in Careva just walking around, sitting by the river, eating fresh fish, and soaking in this completely different energy. It's the polar opposite of busy beach towns, and that's exactly the point. Let me address the language situation, because I know this is a concern for a lot of travelers. Portuguese is the language in Brazil, and in a small town like Trancoso, you can't count on everyone speaking English. That said, I got by perfectly fine with just Google Translate and a handful of basic Portuguese phrases. Most restaurant staff, pousada owners, and tour operators have enough English to communicate the essentials. Brazilians are incredibly warm and patient with foreign travelers. Even when there's a language barrier, people go out of their way to help you, using gestures and creativity to make sure you're taken care of. Download Google Translate before you arrive and make sure you have the offline Portuguese pack. That way you can translate text even without Wi-Fi, which is incredibly helpful for menus and signs. Let's talk about connectivity, because this might matter to you. Most pousadas and restaurants in Trancoso have Wi-Fi, though the speed and reliability can be hit or miss depending on the place. I bought a Brazilian SIM card at the airport for about $30 with 20 gigabytes of data. The main carriers are Vivo, Claro, and TIM, and coverage in Trancoso was solid for data and calls. Having reliable data completely changed my experience. I could use Google Maps to navigate, translate on the fly, call taxis with apps like Uber, and stay in touch with people back home without stress. Now here's something nobody talks about, but it's super important. Plug adapters and voltage, because Brazil uses Type N outlets and runs on 127 or 220 volts depending on the region. Most modern electronics like phone chargers and laptops handle dual voltage automatically. But if you have a hair dryer or other heat device, check the voltage rating or you'll blow it out the first time you plug it in. Let me tell you about the sunset ritual at the Quadrado, because this became my favorite part of every single day in Trancoso. It's when the whole town seems to slow down and gather together. Around 5:30, every evening people start gathering on the grass of the Quadrado. Locals, travelers, kids playing, dogs running around, and everyone just sitting together watching the sun drop toward the ocean. There's something deeply peaceful about this ritual. No one's on their phone, no one's in a rush, everyone is just present in this moment together, watching one of the most beautiful sunsets you'll ever see. After sunset, the restaurants around the Quadrado start lighting their tables with candles. The whole square glows with this warm golden light, live music starts playing, and the evening energy shifts into dinner mode. Here's my perfect Trancoso evening. Watch sunset at the Quadrado, walk to the beach for a caipirinha at a barraca as the last light fades, then head back up for dinner under the stars with live Brazilian music. Let me be honest about something. Trancoso is not a party town. It's not a place you go for wild nightlife or DJ clubs. That's not what this place is about, and if that's what you want, you'll be disappointed. Trancoso is about slowing down, connecting with nature, eating incredible food, meeting interesting people, and letting the rhythm of the ocean reset your nervous system. That's the magic of this place. I came to Trancoso planning to stay 1 week. I extended my trip twice and ended up staying 14 days, and honestly, I could have stayed longer if my flight home wasn't already booked. That's how you know a place is special. When leaving feels genuinely hard, when you start planning your return trip before you've even left, when you find yourself saying this is the real Brazil over and over. If you're planning a trip to Brazil and you're trying to decide where to spend your time, put Trancoso on your list, give it at least 4 or 5 days, and trust me, it'll be a highlight. This is the Brazil that doesn't make it into the headlines. The Brazil of kind people, stunning untouched beaches, incredible food, and a pace of life that reminds you what actually matters in this world. If this video helped you discover a side of Brazil you didn't know existed, hit that subscribe button. It helps YouTube show this to more travelers who are looking for the authentic experience, not the tourist checklist. Thank you so much for watching. I'm genuinely excited for you to experience Trancoso for yourself, and I can't wait to hear about your trip when you go. Safe travels, and welcome to the real Brazil.